What if I told you your entire life could change in just 30 days? Not someday, not next year, not when you feel ready. 30 days. Because transformation is never a matter of time. It's a matter of decisions. And the truth is, you're one commitment away from a completely different identity, a completely different level of confidence, and a completely different future. The question you must ask yourself is simple. Are you willing to show up for 30 days, even when it's uncomfortable? Most people try to change their lives by forcing themselves to act differently. They set goals, make promises, write lists, and declare this time will be different. But deep down, nothing sticks because they're trying to change the behavior without changing the identity behind it. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards. And your standards are driven by who you believe you are. If someone believes they're lazy, it doesn't matter how many alarms they set, they'll keep hitting snooze. If someone believes they're not disciplined, it doesn't matter how inspired they get at midnight. By morning, they're back to old patterns. You can't outperform the story you tell yourself. The moment you shift your identity, everything changes automatically. When a person says, I'm trying to quit smoking, that's someone fighting their old identity. But when they say, I'm not a smoker anymore, the battle is already won. When someone says, I'm trying to get in shape, they leave space to fail. But when they declare, I am an athlete, I am a healthy person, every decision starts aligning with that identity. You don't try to be that person. You simply behave like who you believe you are. For 30 days, I want you to train your identity, not your habits. Habits will follow. Behavior follows belief. Think about it. When you were a kid and learned to ride a bike, the moment you believed you could ride, your body figured it out. The belief came before the balance. The identity came before the skill. The same rule applies to your life right now. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need a different story about who you are. You want to wake up earlier. Stop saying you're not a morning person. You want to start a business. Stop saying you're not an entrepreneur. You want to improve your relationships. Stop saying that's just how I am. That's the language of someone who's surrendered their identity to their history. Your past does not define you unless you live there. Your identity is not built from what happened to you. It's built from what you decide next. Every transformation starts with a declaration, this is who I am now, not someday, not eventually, now, in this moment. And yes, your mind will try to fight you. It will try to protect the old you. It will say, that's not true. You failed before. You're not that person. But the mind doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to repetition and evidence. That's why these 30 days are powerful, because every day you show up, even in a small way, you gather proof. And proof becomes identity. You start to believe what you repeatedly do. If you read for 10 minutes every morning, you start becoming someone who feeds their mind, not their excuses. If you work out for even 15 minutes daily, you become someone who values growth, not comfort. If you speak kindly to yourself, you become someone who respects their potential. It's not about going all in for one day and quitting. It's about showing up every day, even when it's not perfect. Progress doesn't require perfection, only consistency. And consistency becomes identity. The biggest trap people fall into is thinking change has to be dramatic. I'll change when I feel motivated. But transformation doesn't happen in big moments. Transformation happens in the smallest decisions that no one sees. The days when you don't feel like it, the mornings when it would be easier to quit, the moments when you're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed and you decide to show up anyway. That's where identity is forged. And once you see yourself differently, the world sees you differently too. There's a version of you that doesn't need to beg for discipline because that version lives with discipline. There's a version of you that doesn't chase motivation because that version creates momentum. There's a version of you that doesn't hope for confidence because that version embodies confidence. That version isn't a fantasy. That version is already inside, waiting for you to choose it. So for the next 30 days, don't just try to be better. Become someone who doesn't settle. Become someone who keeps promises to themselves. Become someone who shows up even when no one is watching. Your habits will transform because your identity will transform. And once you become the kind of person who follows through, your entire life begins to move in a new direction. Identity first, habit second, because when you know who you are, the world can't convince you to be anything less. People love to talk about the big moments in life, the breakthroughs, the miracles, the massive changes that appear out of nowhere. But the truth is, real transformation rarely happens in a single moment. It's the result of dozens of small decisions you make every single day. Your life doesn't change when you make a promise. It changes when you keep it. Not once, not twice, but consistently. Because the future you want is built brick by brick, choice by choice, moment by moment. The problem is, most people wait for a dramatic event to transform them. They wait for the perfect timing, the perfect motivation, the perfect opportunity. But change doesn't come from perfection. It comes from consistency. You don't need a giant leap. You need small steps done every day, especially when no one is paying attention. You could work out for 8 hours straight today. That won't change your body, but 30 minutes a day for 30 days, that will reshape your energy, your confidence, your identity, and your belief in what's possible. Every day you wake up with a simple choice to move 1 inch forward or 1 inch backward. One decision to hit snooze or one decision to get up. One decision to complain or one decision to be grateful. One decision to feed your excuses or feed your purpose. Your destiny is not shaped by the big decisions you make once a year. It's shaped by the small decisions you make every single morning. That's where victories are created. Think about it. What does one healthy meal do? Almost nothing. What does one workout do? Not much. What does reading one chapter do? You won't suddenly become wise, but do these same actions for 30 days? Your body changes. Your mindset changes. Your confidence changes. You don't just get results, you become a different person. Because repeated actions build habits, and habits build character. Most people underestimate the power of small, consistent effort. They look at someone successful and think they leapfrog to the top. They don't see the days of discipline. They don't see the sacrifices. They don't see the mornings when that person didn't feel like showing up but did anyway. Greatness is lonely in the beginning. There's no applause for your first step, no recognition for your early progress. But those small steps are the foundation of everything you want. You have to stop asking, how fast will it happen? And start asking, how consistently can I show up? Because speed means nothing without endurance. Inspiration lasts a moment. Habit lasts a lifetime. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you build a little more momentum. And momentum is powerful. Once it starts moving, life gets easier. Confidence rises. Doubt gets quieter. You begin to feel unstoppable, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you became stronger. And here's the truth most people avoid. Small daily decisions are harder than big ones. A big moment requires a burst of courage. A daily commitment requires character. It's easy to be excited on day one. It's easy to start something when motivation is high. But the real difference makers are the days when you don't feel like it and you do it anyway. That's where growth happens. That's where transformation begins. You don't build mental toughness when everything is easy. You build it when you choose progress over excuses. For these 30 days, don't judge the size of the action. Judge the consistency of the action. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. If you miss a day, you don't start over. You continue, because the win is not in doing it flawlessly. The win is in refusing to quit. When you make one good decision, you set the tone for the next. You start gaining small victories. Small victories become habits. Habits create momentum. Momentum changes lives. Every time you say yes to one small decision that aligns with your future, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. And the more votes you cast, the more you believe in yourself, the more evidence you gather, the harder it becomes to doubt. You stop hoping for change and start expecting it. And people will look at you and say, you've changed. Yes. And it started with one small decision repeated consistently. When you understand the power of daily choices, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop searching for motivation. You stop negotiating with your goals. You simply show up. One step forward every day for 30 days will take you farther than one giant leap once in a while. Let the world chase intensity. You chase consistency, because consistency always wins. One small decision repeated daily can transform everything. Every day of your life is shaped by one thing, the state you are in. When you're energized, focused, confident, strong, the world looks different. Challenges feel smaller, possibilities feel bigger. You make decisions that move you forward. But when you're stressed, exhausted, overwhelmed, or doubting yourself, the same world feels like it's working against you. You hesitate, you overthink, you hold back. It's not the situation that changed. It's the emotional state you brought to it. Your state is the steering wheel of your entire life. Most people try to fix their problems while staying the same emotional state that created them. They try to solve fear while holding on to fear. They try to take action while feeling powerless. They try to create a better future while carrying the weight of the past. But nothing shifts until the emotion shifts. You can't make powerful decisions with a disempowered mind. You can't break old patterns with old emotions. When you change your state, you change your decisions. And when you change your decisions, you change your life. Think about a time you felt unstoppable. Maybe you achieved something, overcame something, or surprised yourself. In that moment, you weren't questioning your worth. You weren't doubting your ability. You weren't overthinking. You acted because confidence creates action, and action creates results. But there have been times where you felt small, exhausted, discouraged, or disconnected. And in those moments, even the simplest tasks felt heavy. A phone call felt overwhelming. A goal felt impossible. It wasn't the world holding you back. It was the emotional state you were living in. For the next 30 days, you must make mastering your emotional state a daily priority. That doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It doesn't mean ignoring stress or pretending to be happy. It means taking control instead of reacting. It means interrupting the pattern before it takes over. If you wait for life to make you feel powerful, you'll struggle forever. But if you learn how to generate your strength, you become unstoppable. There are 3 forces that control your emotional state, your body, your focus, and the meaning you assign to something. Change any one of these and the entire emotion shifts. When your body is weak, your mind becomes weak. If you breathe shallow, if your shoulders drop, if you move slowly, you signal your nervous system to shut down. But if you change the way you move, stand taller, breathe deeper, move with energy, you can't feel small and strong at the same time. The body leads the mind. Your focus is another powerful driver. If you focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what could go wrong, or why you're not enough, life will feel heavy. But if you focus on progress, possibilities, opportunities, and reasons you can win, suddenly your brain finds solutions. Whatever you focus on, you feel. If you look for the worst, you'll find it. If you look for the best, you'll also find it. The question is, which one are you training your mind to see? And then there's meaning. 2 people can live the same experience, and one will say, this broke me, while the other says, this made me stronger. The experience isn't what shapes you. The meaning you give it does. If you see a setback as a sign that you're failing, you'll quit. But if you see it as a sign you're learning, you'll push forward. Pain can be the reason you stop or the reason you rise. You decide. So for these 30 days, don't just focus on what you do. Focus on how you feel before you do it. If you want to build discipline, first build energy. If you want to think clearly, first shift your state. Before you make a decision, ask yourself, am I thinking from fear or from power? Before you speak, ask, am I speaking from stress or from strength? Before you react, ask, am I responding as the old version of myself or the new one? The fastest way to transform your life is to stop letting your emotions happen to you and start choosing them. Wake up with intention. Move your body. Breathe with purpose. Speak like someone who believes in their future. Fuel your mind with empowering thoughts, not the noise of negativity. Surround yourself with people who raise your energy, not drain it. Because when your emotional state rises, your standards rise. When your standards rise, your actions rise. And when your actions rise, your life elevates with them. There will be days when you don't feel like it, days when you're frustrated, tired, or overwhelmed. Those are the days that define you. Anyone can be strong when life is easy. Mastery is proving to yourself that you can generate power even when life tries to weaken you. And once you learn how to shift your state at will, fear loses its grip, obstacles lose their weight, and doubt loses its voice. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. When you control your emotional state, you control your life. 30 days, it sounds simple, it sounds small, but most people never commit to anything for 30 days straight. They stay excited for 3 days, disciplined for a week, motivated for a moment, and then life gets busy, stress kicks in, distractions show up, and they slip right back into who they used to be. And that's the problem. The breakthrough never happens because consistency never gets a chance to build momentum. 30 days is not just a challenge. It's a psychological reset. It's long enough to rewire your habits, redefine your identity, and rebuild your belief in what you're capable of. It's short enough that you can't talk yourself out of it. You don't need a year. You don't need a perfect plan. You need 1 month of showing up with intention. For 30 days, you are not waiting for motivation. You are not bargaining with your goals. You are not explaining why you can't. You are proving to yourself that you can. And the most powerful thing you gain from these 30 days is not just progress, it's evidence, real, undeniable evidence that you follow through. When you see yourself show up daily, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when it's inconvenient, you build self-respect, you build self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Most people lose confidence because they don't keep promises to themselves. They say they'll start tomorrow. They say they'll change next week. They say they'll be disciplined eventually. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your mind learns you can't be trusted. But when you complete 30 days with consistency, everything changes. You prove that you don't need perfect conditions. You prove that you don't quit when it gets uncomfortable. You prove that you are in control, not your excuses, not your feelings, not your old patterns. 30 days turns a dream into a habit. It turns a habit into a lifestyle. And a lifestyle is what creates a new version of you. During these 30 days, something powerful happens. The first week feels exciting because it's new. The second week feels challenging because resistance shows up. Old habits try to pull you back. Your mind will whisper, skipping once won't hurt. It will tell you that you're tired. It will tell you that you can start again later. But that is the moment of truth, because the second week is where the old identity begins to fight for survival. If you push through that week, you disconnect from who you used to be. Then comes the third week. This is where the magic begins. Your body adapts, your mind sharpens, your energy rises, your routine becomes normal. The discipline that once felt heavy begins to feel natural. You're no longer forcing yourself. You're becoming someone who just does it. Not because you have to, but because it's who you are now. Then the fourth week arrives. The results begin to show, not just on the outside, but on the inside. Your confidence is different. Your decisions are different. You speak differently, think differently, carry yourself differently. You wake up without hesitation. You don't negotiate with your goals anymore. You don't need motivation because momentum has taken over. And when the 30th day comes, something remarkable happens. You look back and realize you are not the same person who started. You didn't just complete a challenge. You transformed your identity. You built proof that you are disciplined, focused, capable, and powerful. And once that belief takes root, nobody can take it from you. People say change takes time. That's not true. Change happens the moment you commit. Results take time, but transformation begins the second you decide, I'm done being who I used to be. 30 days is a container that forces that transformation to stick. For the next 30 days, you're not going to hope for change, talk about change, or wish for change. You're going to live it day after day, action after action, choice after choice. There will be days when it's hard, days when you want to quit, days when the old habits feel louder than the new identity. That's when you remind yourself why you started. That's when you remember that every time you push through resistance, you're teaching your mind who is in control. You're proving to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses, stronger than your circumstances, and stronger than your old story. This is not about being perfect. This is about not stopping. If you miss a day, you don't collapse, you continue, because failure isn't missing one day. Failure is letting one day turn into a lifetime of starting over. 30 days is your declaration to yourself. I show up, I follow through, I finish. And when you finish these 30 days, the world around you won't be the only thing that changes. You will. You'll be the kind of person who keeps promises. You'll be the kind of person who doesn't give up. You'll be the kind of person who creates results instead of wishing for them. 30 days of commitment can rewrite your future. Every day your mind is being fed. The question is, with what? Most people don't realize it, but their thoughts, their energy, their emotions, their confidence, even their decisions are being shaped by what they allow into their mind. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, doubt, fear, distractions, comparison, drama, stress, and noise, then you can't expect clarity, confidence, or belief to come out. Your mind is a garden. If you don't plant something empowering, something destructive will grow on its own. For 30 days, you must become the gatekeeper of your mind. Not everything gets access. Not every voice deserves space. Not every thought deserves attention. If you want a new life, you have to protect the environment that creates it. The same way you wouldn't pour dirty fuel into a high-performance engine, you can't pour negativity into a human being and expect power, passion, and purpose to show up. You can't keep feeding your mind garbage and wonder why you feel stuck. Most people don't lose motivation. They lose focus. Not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because the world is constantly trying to steal their attention. Your phone, social media, other people's opinions, negative conversations, bad news, old beliefs, and internal criticism, they pull you away from your potential one distraction at a time. That's why these 30 days matter. This is your chance to replace noise with clarity, doubt with belief, and fear with purpose. Feed your mind something that strengthens you. For 30 days, consume content that lifts you, challenges you, teaches you, and reminds you of who you are capable of becoming. Listen to things that build your mindset, not destroy it. Speak to yourself in a way that empowers you, not discourages you. Surround yourself with energy that fuels your growth, not energy that drains your spirit. If something makes you weaker, it does not belong in your life right now. When you cut out negativity, even a little, you will be shocked at how your world begins to shift. You will think clearer. You will feel lighter. You will make decisions faster. You will trust yourself more. Because negativity is heavy, it slows you down. It keeps you focused on what's wrong instead of what's possible. And most of the time, people don't realize they're carrying this weight because they've been holding it for years. But remove it for 30 days and suddenly your mind feels different. This also means being intentional about who you listen to. Not everyone has earned the right to influence you. Some people speak from their limitations, not your potential. Some people judge your dreams because they gave up on theirs. Some people tell you to be realistic because they stopped being brave. You don't take advice on success from someone who's accepted failure. You don't take advice on happiness from someone who refuses to grow. You don't take advice on your future from someone stuck in their past. Instead, surround yourself with voices that push you upward. People who dream big, people who believe in possibility, people who challenge you to rise instead of stay the same. Even if you don't have those people in your physical environment, you can find them through books, audio, videos, mentors, role models, and teachers. Your environment is bigger than your location. It's everything you let influence your mind. And the most powerful thing you can feed your mind is gratitude and perspective. When you focus on what's good, what's growing, what's improving, what's possible, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. You stop complaining about what you don't have and start appreciating what's already within your reach. Gratitude isn't something you feel after life improves. Gratitude is what makes life improve. For the next 30 days, speak to yourself with intention. Not, I hope I change, but I am changing. Not, I can't do this, but I'm getting stronger every day. Your brain listens to the language you use. If you constantly criticize yourself, your identity shrinks. If you constantly empower yourself, your identity expands. You are not just feeding your mind information, you are feeding it identity. And identity determines destiny. If you want a powerful mind, build powerful rituals. Start your morning with something empowering. Don't wake up and feed yourself the world's problems before you fed yourself your own purpose. Spend a few minutes reading, listening, reflecting, writing, or learning. Protect the first minutes of your day like your life depends on it, because it does. A strong morning builds a strong emotional state. A strong emotional state builds strong choices. Strong choices build a strong life. And when negativity tries to show up, and it will, don't negotiate with it. Interrupt it. Replace it. Refuse to let it live rent-free in your mind, because you have goals to reach. You have a future to build. You have a life waiting for the best version of you. These 30 days are about mental nutrition. Feed your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. There is something you need to accept. Before these 30 days begin, it will not be easy. You will not feel motivated every day. You will not wake up inspired every morning. You will not always feel strong, energized, or confident. There will be days where you want to quit, days where your old habits whisper to you, days where life gets in the way. And that is exactly why most people never transform, because they believe the lie that change should feel comfortable. It won't. Growth is uncomfortable. Discipline is uncomfortable. Breaking your patterns is uncomfortable. And that's why results don't go to the most talented, the strongest, or the luckiest. They go to the most committed. Results go to the unstoppable. Obstacles are guaranteed. You will get tired. Your schedule will get busy. People will distract you. Your mind will try to negotiate. That voice inside will say, why are you working so hard? Why not take a day off? Does it really matter? And if you listen to that voice, you go right back to the life you're trying to leave behind. But if you push through, if you take action even when it feels heavy, you develop something far more powerful than motivation. You develop resilience. Resilience is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Motivation is a feeling. Motivation comes and goes. But resilience is a decision. That decision says, no matter what comes, I keep going. And once you have resilience, there is nothing in your life you cannot overcome. You stop being limited by circumstances. You stop being discouraged by setbacks. You stop being controlled by your feelings. You become someone who acts from commitment, not emotion. And that is how breakthroughs are born. Think about anyone you admire, anyone who changed their life, anyone who created something extraordinary. None of them succeeded because life was smooth. None of them grew because everything went right. They became unstoppable because they kept moving when everything went wrong. They fell down and got back up. They doubted themselves and kept going. They were told no and they kept pushing. That is the price of transformation. But that price gives you something that no shortcut ever could: power. Every time you face resistance and push through it, you build a new level of strength. You build a new level of belief. You build proof that you are stronger than your excuses. And when you collect enough of that proof, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get better. Because you stop surrendering to obstacles and start defeating them. During these 30 days, things will happen that try to pull you off track. You might get sick, you might get busy, you might feel tired, someone might upset you, plans might fall apart, and in that moment, you'll feel tempted to say, I'll restart tomorrow. But tomorrow is the language of the weak. The unstoppable say, I'll continue today, even if you don't do it perfectly, even if all you can manage is a small step. Because a small step forward keeps momentum alive. Once you stop, once you break the chain, once you allow excuses to win, the mind will try to take you back to your old life. There's something powerful that happens when you don't quit. Not once, not twice, but every time you face resistance and refuse to stop, your mind rewires itself. Your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who finishes. You stop seeing challenges as walls and start seeing them as tests. And when life realizes you won't break, it stops trying to break you. Strength becomes your natural state. You must also understand this. People around you may not understand your journey. Some might question it. Some might mock it. Some might feel threatened by it. People who are comfortable hate seeing others grow because it reminds them of their own potential. Don't let anyone's doubt become your reality. Let their doubt become your fire, because nothing silences critics like results. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most gifted. You just need to be the one who refuses to give up. You just need to be the one who shows up when others stop. You just need to be the one who takes action long after the mood is faded. If you can do that, these 30 days won't just change your habits. They will change your character. You will develop a level of confidence that cannot be faked, a level of discipline that cannot be shaken, a level of belief that cannot be killed. And when you carry that into the rest of your life, your goals, your relationships, your career, your dreams, everything elevates. Because the unstoppable always reach their destination. Maybe not immediately, but inevitably. So when obstacles show up, and they will, you look them in the eye and keep moving. When you feel exhausted, you keep moving. When doubt tries to get inside your head, you keep moving. When no one believes in you, you keep moving, because nothing can beat the person who refuses to stop. Results belong to the unstoppable.